Thanks. So, as you can see, my original title was Driving Crypto Adoption, but after seeing Giacomo's recommendation that everything should start with a gerund and should mention Bitcoin, I changed my title to Bitcoin. So, I'm going to talk about what can be done to increase user adoption. And I'm be talking to you from the point of view of a person that works for probably 13, 14 years in a company that is doing payments. So we interact a lot of the times, all the times with, we are the stop between the merchants and the users, or the users and the merchants. And this company is the one right here. And first of all, I learned something from the presentation before, so I'm going to keep my effects near arm's reach, so don't try to take it away from me. So I started a long time ago as a developer, then I started this company about 16 years ago already. I co-founded together with a partner. In the meantime, we've done a lot of things that involve payments, as I was mentioning, but also messaging and other stuff. In the recent years, we've been, let's say, taking care of a few communities in Bucharest, amongst which is the Blockchain Romania one, where we organize weekly meetups, and we try to, keep the community going. First, I want to, it came very handy that last week there was a report published by a rather big bank called ING. And if you don't know about ING, you have to remember that this is the bank that got fined $622 million, or no, it was fined $622 million for money laundering, and that they were not using any cryptocurrency, they were only using Bitcoin. And this report that came out last week, and you can see the source there, they asked people a few things about what is their general view of crypto. And to a lot of people's surprise, while in some countries, like in the Western Europe, the general impression is maybe not so positive. In Romania and in much more than Romania and Turkey, so more in the Eastern and Balkan area, people tend to have a very good impression about cryptocurrencies. And my personal feeling is that there might be something wrong with the sampling. But not necessarily because of this particular statistic. There are other statistics that make me feel this. Then the one other question was how do they get their information about crypto and what's happening in the area? And in Romania, apparently, oops. In Romania, apparently a lot of people tend to do their own research, they don't talk to anybody, and they just watch videos online, or I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing their own research. So when you talk to a Romanian person and you say, do your own research, you have to know that they really mean it. And then, this is somehow antithetic to the thesis of decentralization and Bitcoin. They asked what would they think if banks would start to offer accounts that are, like the unit currency, the account currency would be crypto, such as Bitcoin. And you could see that the legend is here, where there is a greed. So 40% of people, at least the ones here, they said that they would like to see banks offering accounts in crypto. And this is one of the points that I think that it's important, and I will get back to it. Not before I go to the same report by ING done last year, where they asked people whether they own crypto, and to everybody's surprise, in Romania about 12% of people said that they own some crypto. Now, I'm sure that this probably means that 10% of that people mostly held anything but Bitcoin, but it's still, it's a somehow surprising statistic. Before I go into what can be done to increase this user adoption and what are the pain points on each side, I'm going to tell you a bit of our experiences in handling crypto payments. So we handle crypto payments, so we intermediate payments between merchants and users, between the users and merchants, for about 5 years now. And what this means is that we allow merchants to get paid in fiat because they don't want to handle crypto, and I will tell later why. So merchants want to handle crypto, to handle fiat, but users have the option to pay with mostly Bitcoin. So when we look at all the payments that we process in cryptocurrencies, and we look at all the support cases and all the, sometimes we make more or less educated guesses. We found out that about 50% of the users that are using our service to pay for goods and services with crypto, they are actually using hosted wallets. And not only hosted wallets like, let's say, blockchain.info, but hosted wallets in the way that sometimes it's maybe Coinbase or exchange wallets. So they directly withdraw from an exchange to an address that we provide to process this payment. And this is again one point where it shows that people, although they claim that they own crypto and they claim that they have a good impression about crypto, they don't feel too comfortable holding crypto, and this is the same, the key point of the behaviors that we see. And when we talk about, the panel last night talking about what Bitcoin will look like in 10 years, and one of the topics were, well, increasing merchant adoption. Merchant adoption cannot appear without user adopting it first, and then we have a disconnect here. Furthermore, the people, because they are using hosted wallets, they have no idea about this propagation time, meaning not only the propagation time as in from the time I'm doing a transaction. So if I host my own keys and I'm doing the transaction myself, I at least have control of when the transaction is being propagated. But in this particular types of, using an exchange wallet, for instance, you have absolutely no control of a transaction that you request when it will actually be propagated. And this, when we process payments due to the exchange rate volatility, we impose a time limit on you have 10 minutes to, from the moment we generate that address for you to send us, to propagate, at least in the network, the transaction. And a lot of the times this doesn't happen. And also people don't grasp the idea of the fees. And sometimes it's true that the exchanges don't handle the fees in a unitary way. Some exchanges and hosted wallets would put the withdrawal fee on top of what you want to withdraw. Some others will simply deduct the fee that they will need to pay for the withdrawal from the amount that you withdraw. And this, of course, makes, in the end, a smaller amount than the one we requested reach our addresses. A lot of the times we have disputes with users about the exchange rate, because, for instance, if you use, let's say, Coinbase wallet, Coinbase, the first option that you have is like send dollars. So, or maybe if you have an account in euros, they will say send euros. And then people, they know that they have to pay, I don't know, 100 euros, and they will send their 100. But that gets converted using Coinbase's own exchange rate. And this is not the exchange that we use. And then a lot of no support requests and so on are generating through this misunderstanding. On the merchant side, this is again dependent on the local jurisdiction. So we know the best Romania, and we know that in Romania there are no clear regulations when it comes to handling crypto. So if you are a business and you receive a crypto, there are some, impressions of people that are accountants or tax advisors that would say that you need to handle it this way or this other way, but there is no unitary, government-imposed way of recognizing crypto. If you are a business, there are some regulations very loose for individuals. And this means that if you are a business and you want to, don't rely on third parties, because in the end, this is all the mantra that the crypto was created for. So if you want to handle crypto yourself, then you will have problems, registering that transaction and knowing what the exchange rate to put and so on, and how to declare it and how to keep crypto on your balance sheet. And this is tiring, and for this particular reason, a lot of merchants prefer to do it through our service. And last but not least, if the transactions fall within a specific, let's say, pattern, then you also have to take care of all this AML reporting and so on. And again, the merchants, they don't want to do that. So this is one service where we bundle all these services in the processing that we offer. And if you look at all this, disconnect between the users and the merchants, I mentioned that users don't feel very comfortable handling their own keys. And if you think why is that, is because in the last, let's say, I don't know, 100, 200 years since banknotes were really started to take off, and moreover in the last, I don't know, 60 years since we had cards, banks were able to solve all the users' problem with just a simple phone call. Maybe sometimes you have to drop into the office of the bank, but if you lose your card, if you forget your PIN, you call somebody and somebody is there to reset your account or unlock your account. But because crypto is very different from that, and people are very lazy by nature, then they prefer to give away some of their sovereignty to have more comfort. And I think that this is the biggest roadblock in the user's adoption. And also don't forget that we talk about merchants, but it's like the Ogilvy is saying that the user is not a moron, the user is your wife. In the same way, we can say that we talk about the users that don't feel comfortable handling crypto, but let's not forget that a merchant, it's not an entity by itself. A merchant is represented by some persons, by some humans that have the same fears about handling crypto as any other human does. And moreover, in theory at least, with merchants, they would have to handle a lot more crypto than maybe a regular person. So, and you know that the people are more anxious the more value they have to handle. So that's a deterrent. And somehow confusing if you think about it, if you see that I put there in the pros and cons for the financial centralized financial system and the decentralized crypto-based one, I put in the pros and cons the same factors. And this is actually true because if you look from the crypto point of view, having you manage your own keys is good because you don't depend on anybody and any system, but it's also bad because if you lose your passphrase, then bye-bye Bitcoin. And one other important thing is the banking system, at least the electronic settled one, formed in people's mindsets this idea that every transaction is done in 2 steps. So first you have an authorization phase where the bank confirms, yes, this user or this bank account has enough money to pay for this transaction or this product that you requested. But the money itself, you as a merchant, you will have it in the bank account only in like 3 days, 5 days, I don't know, depends. So having a crypto transaction which have more or less instant settlement, it requires a different mindset. And just as an example that having the externalities that are created by you know, having a merchant that accepts a specific type of crypto versus you having a different type of crypto, it's very well observed. If you go, for instance, if any one of you has an Amex card and will go to any store in this city and will want to pay with an Amex card, they will fail because it's a matter of an externality that it's not only you that needs to have the specific payment instrument, it's also the merchant that needs to accept the specific payment instrument for you. And this is the way I see our role as a payment processor. We try to break this dependency loop. It's true that in breaking this dependency loop, it means that we don't enable a circular economy, the thing that was talked about in the panel yesterday. So it's not a circular economy, but it's at least an economy that works on one side, and then we care about all the pains and problems of the other side. So at least one side of this economy functions well, and this is how we do it. So first of all, we allow merchants to accept online users paying crypto and merchants receiving fiat. We also have developed for the offline use. We also have this mobile application which allows, again, a merchant to just generate addresses on their mobile phone and then receive fiat in their bank account. And what's more interesting is that we are integrating this cash register, so we will have directly on the cash register, so you will use this cash register, which anyway you have to use if you're a merchant almost anywhere in the world. You will have to have a cash register, so we will integrate this specific crypto payment inside the cash register. And that's one of our payment applications, which again is or will be able to support crypto payments. And in this way, by taking care of the user side, we make it quite seamlessly for the merchants. And because we are in the end a business-to-business service provider, taking care of the merchants is the most important thing, because in this way we satisfy the needs of both sides of this market. And that's pretty much it.
All right, we have some questions. Okay, here you go, hold on.
I have a question about Romanian market. I know the Netopia payment use a lot of e-commerce platform, but I want to know if you have a statistic about how much of them accept Bitcoin payment. You have a statistic how much of retailer wants to have that option.
I think that from all the merchants that we have, maybe 1% or 2% accept Bitcoin payments. And the way we are working on the operational side in order to somehow have it crypto as a default. So any merchant, as long as they have a processing, let's call it a merchant account, they will be able to accept crypto. But that's there are some implications there, and but anyway, as we speak, the merchants that we process, 1-2%. That's all that accept crypto.
You raised an important point. You said we're waiting for people to use crypto to buy, right?
Yes.
And I think this is where the problem lies, because we're waiting for people to buy instead of going to brands who already have a loyal audience and working with their accountant and the brand to understand how crypto works, how they can accept crypto payments with or without converting into fiat, and then relying on the fact that they already have the channels to promote and, you know, engage and educate their audiences. That'd be one point. And the other, I think in e-commerce, it's very important that, because Rigel raised an important question, an important aspect before on security. I think it's important that we have always two major accounts. One would be a private address that we don't really use for shopping online, for example. And another, let's say, BTC address that is used for more liquid activities, because it's very dangerous when you're placing an order on a website, you know, for a physical product. It gets shipped to your house. So then, you know, website security is really shit, especially in Romania. So I want to know how we can work with this.
I think that the thing you touched upon, so let me actually go first to the brand topic. I would say that the brands that really feel that their users are interested in crypto, they already opted in for this. And the ones that did not opt in, they didn't see a use case, or let's say enough traction, or most importantly, they are, if you are a big brand, you don't want any negative press. And remember that the governor of the National Bank of Romania said about 9 months ago that associating with crypto, it's a bad reputation or something along these lines. So if you hear the national bank telling people that, you're not going to be willing to be in the front of the crypto adoption craze. And about the, let's call it OPSEC, like how do you operate, it's a very good advice, and you have to go back to the presentations yesterday about, and the day before, about how you will want to use coin joins, and ideally you will have multiple outputs that you can spend at any moment. And as a kind of a fun fact, I remember that maybe it was 2014 or 2015 when one of the big payments that we processed, big in, let's say, in today's terms, that we processed, we looked at the wallet that was sending, and it was clear that the guy was using like a, I don't know, a personal wallet, not hosted one, and we could see that he had a few hundred bitcoins in it, and then we could track all the other expenses that he was doing with it. And then you know, just by looking at the way, for instance, even with exchanges, there are some exchanges that will allocate an address that is personal to you, meaning you don't have the keys to that address, but that is your address. And there are few instances where we could see that there are people receiving, for instance, mining rewards to that address, and then they were paying things. So it's not good OPSEC to rely on exchanges in the first place, and then you should use coin joins and all these other Wasabi wallet features to anonymize as much as you can.
All right, thanks so much, Felix.
Thank you.